Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This time I will be doing an advent calendar showing 25 little videos of things I am quite frequently asked on the likes of Facebook on how to do. So let's jump right on in.
Ho, ho, ho!
Okay, this first one. How do I get art into Lightburn and turn it into a vector? Well, you can go to any website, any source really, copy that item and paste it directly into Lightburn. Once pasted into Lightburn, you simply trace it and there you have your vector.
Ho, ho, ho!
How do I select only one item on my screen to preview? Well, use cut selected graphics, the same as you would if you were sending just one item to the laser rather than the whole screen, and use that to preview the graphic. Don't forget to put it back to normal if you intend to send the whole screen to the laser anyway.
Ho, ho, ho!
How do I make text thicker if using bold doesn't quite do the job? Well, if you use the offset tool to do an inside and outside offset of the text and then delete the original text, you will have thicker text.
Ho, ho, ho!
How do I convert any font into a stencil font? What I mean by a stencil font is a font you could cut out of a piece of material and not have, say, the centers of the letter O or E falling out and just leaving a big hole where the letter should be. Well, this is how we do it. After you are sure you've finished putting into the text exactly what you want to say and you don't want to edit it any further, right click on the font, on the text rather, and convert it to a path. I can see that I need 6 little bridges to convert the O's and the E, and not forgetting the I at the end, into a stencil. So I make one little bridge and then I just duplicate it, so I have 6 of them. I'm sure there are other ways people find to duplicate things that may be slightly different to this, but this is how I do it. Then I feel like I'm in control. Once I've done that, I can start the process. But any letters that are in 2 parts, like the centre and outside of the O's and the E's, etc., you must group together before you start this process, or it just won't work. So I shall highlight the O and the E, and not forgetting the I at the end. I shall group them together so they act as one, so to speak. Okay, and once I've done that, I will drag the little bridges down onto each one of the letters, making sure they're in the centre, and the bridges aren't touching anywhere they shouldn't be. You'll see what I mean in a second. I will be making a deliberate mistake here in this process to show you the difference between doing the likes of the O and the I, but I will show you the correct way to do it afterwards. So there's the O converted to a stencil. I'll drag one down onto the E, and what I do here is I use the centering tool to put it in the middle of the E, which makes the bridge too low down and it will affect the bottom part there, and I don't want that. So an easy way to fix that is to center it perfectly, then use the arrow keys. I'm using the up arrow key here to just nudge the pole or bridge up a little bit so it clears the bottom of the E, and then you can carry on with the Boolean assistant, which is what I like to use, so you can see what it is you're actually doing and whether you're doing it wrong or not. Right, do this other O. The O's are very simple to do because you basically just drag it so it snaps to the center, and you're good to go straight away. So highlight them both, Boolean assistant, subtract, it is in this case. Same with this one. Again, we're coming up to an E here, so I'll just slap it into the middle there to make sure it locks into the center. Then use the up arrow key on the keyboard just to nudge it up a little bit. And then highlight them both. And that's that one done. Now, the I, I'm going to do it wrong initially, and then show you what you should do instead. So, okay, if I was to use the same process as I did with the E's and the letter O's, you will see what will happen here. Of course, we end up with the center cut out. That's no good, and that's no good. That would do it, but we'd have a piece stuck out at the top and a piece stuck out at the bottom. So select just the bridge and just drag it down till the edges of the bridge are inside the dot of the eye and inside the body of the eye. Then we'll go back to selecting them both, Boolean assistant, and this time the opposite to what we were using for the E's and the O's. And that's all there is to that. Look at it filled. Oh, I've got it on invert from a previous project. There we go. And you can see that the centers of the letter O's, E's, and indeed the dot of the I will stay where they should be.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to make a space on a graphic to put some text in. I use cut shape tools, background first, shape you're cutting out second, drag it away and delete.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to divide this graphic, so I use the cut shapes tool again. Background first, and then the shape you're using to cut with second, and I can divide this neatly in half without creating any open ends in the vector. They'll all still be filled. You can repeat this process as many times as you like in whatever direction you like, and you will have as many pieces as you desire.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to engrave this little image and then cut around the outside of it afterwards. So I use the offset tool. It'll turn black initially till I change the offset I've just made into the cut layer. I find I've got a piece on the inside of the hat, well, two pieces actually, that I don't want to have cut out for obvious reasons, so I ungroup the new layer I've just made, remove the two pieces I don't want to cut out. So what will happen now, I'll show a preview of this I think, and I'll speed it up so it's not going to bore you too much, I hope. First of all, I'll make sure that my cut layer, the red layer in this case, has the settings I need for cutting for this particular laser. Yep. So what will happen is it'll engrave the image first. Speed it along a little bit here. Yep. So it'll engrave it onto your piece of wood. Then you might be wanting to cut it out for whatever reason, to use as a fridge magnet or whatever. So after it's finished the engraving, it'll set about doing the cut layer. Again, I'll speed this up a little bit. I think you get the idea of what I'm doing here. So yes, it'll cut the image out first, and then it'll cut around the image, so it cuts it out of your material.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to burn a photographic image onto a piece of slate, so I need to invert the image, but I don't really want to alter the image in any way. So I use the invert image selection inside the layer and send it to the laser. And what it's going to show you here first on the preview is how it would actually end up on your black piece of slate, the correct way around, and the black is representing the slate behind it. It does that when you've changed it to invert. It shows you this preview. I'll put it back to the way it's actually been sent to the laser to show you that it is in fact inverted, even though the photograph hasn't been altered in any way. It's been sent to the laser inverted. And once more, just to confirm, imagine this black area is your slate, and it will appear the correct way around on your piece of slate or other black material.
Ho, ho, ho!
There are several ways to bend text. A simple way, blue dot for up and down, simple bending. You can use these options to create 4 separate dots, which you can move individually, or hold down the shift key and you will shift both dots the same amount of movement horizontally. So you can bend it into all kinds of different shapes. Right. I shall reset that first. I'm now using the other option with more dots. Again, you can use each individual dot to bend it whichever way you want. This works with graphics too, it's not just for text. Again, I'm using the shift key here to horizontally mirror everything I'm doing. When I move one dot, its corresponding one horizontally will move at the same time. Now, you can also, I'll reset it again, do the same thing, but if you use the Alt key, you will move both dots vertically in line with each other. So you move the bottom one, the top one moves, top one, the bottom one moves, etc. So it's just a different way of doing things.
Ho, ho, ho!
I've typed out the word love loads of times and I want to put them into a heart shape. So I make a heart, I use the target tool to line them up perfectly with each other, use cut shapes, but nothing happens. So what did I do wrong? Well, I'll tell you. What you have to do, I'll just center it again, is select your background first and then your foreground shape. When you use cut tools this time, you'll see a slight change happen on the screen. you can move one piece away from the other and keep either the inner or the outer, whichever it is you want.
Ho, ho, ho!
Can I put this Santa hat onto this letter H? Well, yes, of course you can. Use Boolean tools. First of all, separate any different parts of the hat, so you're just selecting the very outside edge. The very outside edge. Select that and the H. It only has one edge, the H, so you're alright. Boolean assistant. First option. And that joins them together, gets rid of the H inside the hat so it looks like the hat's perched on top of the H. Select them all and regroup.
Ho, ho, ho!
I was recently asked how to join a small rectangle onto a large rectangle without changing any of the sizes. Simply slightly overlap them, pull one of the edges so you're not changing the dimensions, Boolean tool, and you join them both together having not changed any of the lengths.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to line up some items on my screen so they're on one line and make them equal distance apart. How do I do that? Well, use these little icons up top. I'll drag that down a little bit and then use this icon to make them equal distance apart.
Ho, ho, ho!
Yes, you can use the radius tool to give your square rounded corners, or you can hold down the control key till this little blue dot appears and drag it around to give inner or outer curves to the corners of your box. So you can mess about and get some quite interesting shapes.
Ho, ho, ho!
Help, I've undocked a window and I can't get it back. Don't try and drag it onto the title bar at the top, just below till it turns blue, let go and it snaps into place.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to make some little holes around the inside of this star. Maybe stitch holes. It might be a star-shaped leather patch, I don't know. So first of all I'll make the star and then I'll give it an inner version of itself. Make a little stitch hole. I'll make this about 6mm I think, and drag it onto the inner star. Maybe I might make this star a little bit bigger for this. Nothing like making hard work for yourself, is there? Yeah, so I'll make it a little bit bigger and the inner one a little bit bigger. Now drag the circle onto the star and it'll snap into place. We are going to use copy along a path here, but if you don't have both parts selected it'll be greyed out like this. So what you need to do is to make sure you have the path and the item selected. Go back. Now there's other ways to do this. You can see lots of little menu options, or you can just eyeball it like I'm doing here and keep increasing the amount of stitch holes you want on that inner shape until it looks right. Like I said, you can put amounts of holes, distance apart, all kinds of things you can do here. Experiment, see what's best for you. Once you've done that, what I'll do is I'll go in, I'll get rid of that inner star, so I've just got the stitch holes and the star-shaped leather patch.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to make some numbers automatically increment, so I will use a double D. I would use a triple D if it was going to go into the hundreds. And I will use the serial number in the text options. You can usually leave these more or less the way they are. And then I will go to an array. Now in this array I will just choose how many double D's I want to go along. In this case 10 for 1 to 10. If I do a test, you'll see it does that. It changes to 1 to 10. You can bake it in permanently if you want to by pressing that.
Ho, ho, ho!
Staying with the array tool, I'm going to make an array of these graphics to fit into a previously cut out set of circles. I might put into a piece of cardboard as a template, popped in some coins, and the array tool makes sure all of those coins will land in the right spot in your template. I think I've probably got other videos on my channel that go into using the array a little bit better than this. This is just a quick idea of how you would line this graphic up and multiply it as many times as you need for the task.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to skew this sign, so group them both together. Use one of these little squares that you see to slide left or right, etc.
Ho, ho, ho!
My text is the wrong way around. How did that happen? Well, your origin for your machine may have been switched to be in the wrong place. A file may have been created with an origin in a different place, and you pull it into this machine and it's the wrong way around. You can also recreate this by, I'll choose one of my other machines which has a different orientation to show that it would look wrong.
Ho, ho, ho!
If you have it, import the LB dev file to set up your machine. Don't let Lightburn just find it. In this case, I have put the LB dev file in a folder on my desktop. You'll probably find it on the little SD card that comes with your laser. It's as quick and simple as that. That is now set up.
Ho, ho, ho!
Someone has given you an art library. First of all, before I go any further, make sure your art libraries are visible. If you don't see them on your tabs, go to Window, put a little tick or check mark next to Art Library, and that tab will turn up. Click on Load. This will pop up a dialog box where you will find where you downloaded the art library someone kindly gave you. Click on it and open it, and it will be added to your list of files for your art library. It's as simple as that.
Ho, ho, ho!
I want to create a new category in my art library for textures, so I shall click on New. Now I find my way to where I save my art libraries. Now by default this is inside the Lightburn folder, so inside, you can save them anywhere you like of course, but this is the default location. Choose a name for the new type of art library you're going to have. This one's going to be called Textures. It'll turn up already open and blank. Choose one of your first files. This is a texture of course that you want to go in, and you add any other future files the same way. Click on it, give it a name, and you will import it into your library. I shall click away onto a different library, and then back to that one, show it is there. I will get rid of the one on the screen, double click on the one in the library just to show it turns up, and that's all there is to that.
Ho, ho, ho!
Okay, the advent calendar is rapidly coming to an end now, so I will give you a little treat. We'll make a Christmas ornament or bauble from scratch. Very simple, very, very simple to do. I've made the word Christmas. Of course, you can do anything you like. And I have chose a different font. You know, anything you like. I've got a few favourites. That one will do, I think. Now, I'm going to budge it up a little bit using this option here till all of the letters are touching each other. Because we don't want it separating in this case. We want it to be all one word with no gaps between the letters. Again, when I do this, I'm going to make a mistake deliberately. It's to do with the I. There's a clue. And I'll show you what to do in the event that you've accidentally done that yourself. Okay, but let's get on with the body of the... first of all, I'm going to turn this into a path, of course, so that we've got just an outer edge of the whole thing. This is important because we're going to use the outer edge of the text to link to this inner edge of the bauble. So I'll just make a circle and I'll make it a size so it's just overlapping the edge of the text. That'll do. I'm going to, before I do anything else, I'll make the outer circle of the bauble. I'm not happy with how fat that is, so I shall just make the outer circle itself a little bit bigger. Okay, inner circle and that outer line of the text has been turned to a path. Use a Boolean assistant. Not that option, not that one. That's the one. Click on that and that will join the word Christmas to the inner circle. I'm just going to make sure I highlight the inner circle only and the word Christmas and group it together just in case I move things out of the way by accident. Select the outer circle. Yes, what I want to do is put a little loop on the top. So judge this to be whatever size you want. I like to make it so it's about midway between the two circles, the outer and inner. I'm going to use this line up tool here to make sure it's perfectly in the middle. Select that circle and before I do anything else, make an inner. Mess about with the size till the hole is the size you want it to be. And when you're done, click the outer circle and the outer circle again. Use the Boolean assistant or just use wells like you can down here. If you use wells, you see the Boolean assistant's now grayed out. Now, I'm going to show you what should be the finished product. I've turned it into red for it because that's my cut layer. But there's a mistake. Of course, I've forgotten about the little dot above the eye. But I'll just go through this to show you that it would cut all the outer parts of the word Christmas, which will be married to the inner circle. Now I've got to fix this little dot on the eye, haven't I? So ungroup it. That's the little fella we want to join to the rest of the eye. So I'll make a little rectangle here. Again, judgment how thick you want it to be. I'm going to rotate it a little. Drag it down so it's in the middle of the dot rather, and overlapping the letter I. Use a Boolean assistant to join the dot and the stick together first, and then select the outer line of the word Christmas again. That's why we ungrouped it, and choose the correct option. That's the one. And now that dot will not drop out when you cut the ornament out. And there we go.
Ho, ho, ho!
Okay, we come to the last door of the Advent calendar for this year. We're going to apply some text to a path. So I'm just going to draw using one of the tool layers rather than one of the proper layers. This is so it doesn't show up in your engraving, and you don't have to do anything other than just set the text to the layers and everything will be fine. So choose a different layer for the text itself, and I'll just type something out here. Yeah, follow the path of this line, that'll do. And we're going to use apply text to path. Both are selected, the tool layer squiggly line I've just made and the text, and it will follow. Now you can use this little option up in the text options to string it out or budge it up by clicking the numbers up or down, and just push it to where you want it to be. You'll notice as the direction changes, all the little letters start to tumble about. So we get it so it looks fine. Now here's the thing. If I now move the line I made, if I do anything in fact to the line I made, the text will follow everything the line does. So you can get some very interesting results doing this. And if you'd apply to a shape rather than a line, and you change that shape properties, then the text will follow on. So that's how you do that. Very easy. Well, thank you for coming along and opening up my little advent calendar. I hope some of the things in there are of help to you. Maybe not all of them, but some. And please like and subscribe if you're just visiting. It's all I do this for. I don't get paid by YouTube or anyone. I do it just to help you people. But it does encourage me somewhat if I see the subscription numbers going up. So until next time.